Hello out there in YouTube land. It is I, Kim, or Kimberly, Crafty Teacher DIYs, coming at you with another video all about what I've been stitching. It's been a while. It's been about 2 months now. I didn't do a February and I didn't do a March update. So buckle up because I did a lot of stitching, apparently. I looked at my Notion and like in February it was like 11,000 stitches and in March it was like 10,000 stitches. And that's just the stuff that I tracked like on Pattern Keeper. The stuff that's not that's a paper pattern, I don't count. So I have no idea how many stitches I actually did. So for those of you that are new, welcome. I did get a few new subscribers after thanks to Michelle and a few other people from the Floss Tube at Sea cruise, which I will be going on again next year. Brenda is going to be my roommate, so I'm looking forward to heading back to St. Kitts and Nevis and Tortola and Dominican Republic. So that'd be the first time I've been there. I'm excited. But for those of you that have been here, welcome back. I have been on spring break since the 22nd of March. My school district is trying to move us to more of like a year-round kind of program. So we have what it's called a modified calendar. We get out before Memorial Day this year. And I have Stitch North in between that and that and now. So I'm really excited to see everybody and kind of spend time with everybody again. But our school is supposed to start back July 31st with students next year. So for those of you that don't know, I am a teacher, hence the Crafty Teachers. I do a lot of different things. Like if I can see somebody do it, usually on YouTube or whatever, I can probably either do it myself or mimic it. So I got very lucky with that. So I do sometimes make my own. I've made quilts. Like it's a mess back there. I know it's spring break, but spring cleaning has not been on my has not been on my to-do list. February was spent most of it at school doing science fair prep work for all of the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders that I teach, and it was a lot. So that was part of the reason I was going in on Saturdays. I was going to science regional competitions on Saturdays. So filming was not a thing because I was sitting in that chair that's kind of behind me right now with my electric blanket and my other cozy blankets and like enjoying life is what I was doing. So yeah, it's been a little bit. So short of trying to have this be like a million years long, thank you to those that are coming back. Thank you to those that are just now seeing me for the first time. I've been watching a few new floss tubers to me, and um the Hathaway stitchers are hilarious. Like I just want to hang out with both of those two. They crack me up and the bloopers just slay me. And then Cross Stitch the Globe has been a big one. But then I've also been doing like a lot of quilting shows and things like that because I do have a lot of fabric scraps. So that's kind of what I've been watching. So while I was watching a lot of that stuff, let's talk about what I was stitching. And I am not gonna do like finishes to this, to that. I am going to I am just going to go in order of like what I stitched. And you'll see like as I stitch it, kind of what ended up being like my progress, if you will. So, and if you see me look over there, it's mostly because I'm like trying to look at my Notion. So one of the first things, February 1st, that I kind of did was this. It's super tiny. I did not realize how small this pattern was when I picked it, but it's for the second most magnificent ink circles round robin. This one's hosted by Julicious, J00LICIOUS. And I picked blue tulips. So I did get that stitched. That's blue tulips. This is on a 40 count Dragon Tears. It was a fabric of the month from Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. And then I used a Be Stitch Me like conversion that I kind of came up with. And so kind of the colors, if you want to see them, Spring Bud is this really green. Then we have Clematis. Then we have Leaf, which is this green, darker green. Wild Pansies is this like purple to yellow. And then this bright, bright yellow is a banana. So those were the colors that I kind of picked. And that is kind of what it looks like right now. I know it's not the best lighting. My ring light sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. So the light that I've got right now is kind of iffy. But that is the pattern, kind of the way it was designed. Obviously, for those of you that saw my previous ink circles, well, you're going to see it again. But I got to send this off to Nati. I will see Nati at Stitch North at weekend 2, so I'm super excited. I could send off both of them because I did finish both of them, but you'll see that in a little bit. So yeah, that was February 1st. Was my second most magnificent ink circles round robin. Blue tulips, obviously by ink circles. And I stitched it 1/2 with the Be Stitch Me silks. So that does not have a project bag, but this next one does. And the goal on this one was to finish it by leap day. I did not start it on leap day 2020 because I wasn't stitching then. But I started this on May 29th of 2022. And I almost got it finished in time for leap day, but I did not stitch on it that frequently. So this it's brighter. That fabric is brighter than that, and that is a purple floss, not a blue floss. But this is Castles in the Air by Long Dog Samplers. This is on a 40 count linen that was dyed by Jody as the Steel City Stitchers. I bought this at Steel City Stitchers retreat the first year that they did it, so 2022. Obviously I would have started it, yeah, because then I started it in May. And the silk is a Silks for You. It came in a box. So I don't know that it ever really had a name, but I got close. But all of the back stitching is done throughout all of this. That is washing it out so bad. I can't even tell you. And my goal was to kind of get it along the bottom, and then I'd be left with like the words at the back. I roughly have about 7,000 stitches left in it. And generally speaking, when I come home from work and I'm like just decompressing and stuff, I can generally get, a good 500, if not 1,000. So, if I start to pull this out and work on this, for the rest of break, we go back to school on the 8th, then I might be able to finish it, either the goal is to either finish it before Stitch North or take it to Stitch North and finish it there. Maybe leave like a couple hundred stitches or something. But that is kind of where I'm at with that one. Also stitched 1/2. Oh, can I just say, because I know I mentioned it in my Instagram, these backstitched elephants were like a thing. They were a thing, y'all. A thing. Oh my goodness. like, they're beautiful, don't get me wrong. But trying to see that in that pattern was like, I had both my PDF and I was zooming in, and I had my paper pattern, and I was like looking at it under microscope, like, or under magnification. It was a thing. It was a thing. It was a thing. And I did it, but um they're probably not completely the way they were designed to be, but I mean, it is what it is at this point, because I'm not trying to restitch those. Those were a task and a half. So yeah, that was fun. All right. So that project and the actual new project that I started with Amy Carey Graham, you'll follow her on Instagram. She's sometimes the third part of Long Distance Stitchers, Megan and Megan, who are like some of my favorite people in the whole wide world. So that project, I'll talk about that. But that project that I started with Amy and Castles in the Air currently live in this bag. It came from a Bestitch Me box, which, for those of you who know, I have a major problem, and you'll see here in a second, because I'll tell you about some of the things that are going on. But I have a major problem with Bestitch Me stuff. So this came from her space box 2 years ago, I think. I like got everything. So it came in the space box. So it lives in that bag. I cannot think of who makes those bags right now. So, but that's where I got this bag from. I don't know if Brandy has any more, to be honest. Sometimes she does have some extras, but I'll be pulling that bag out again in a little bit, because on the Lunar New Year, I decided to I bought a new pattern. So this is kind of haul, kind of new start. I don't have the pattern or like the image. I could pull up the image and like flip over to the camera and to insert stuff. We're not going through that, okay? This is going to be long enough as it is. But I bought 2 patterns, I believe, from Marroomy of Marroomy Designs. So one of them being the one that I started on Lunar New Year. So this is Fluff the Dragon. And I got quite a bit on that. What am I stitching? Hydrangea, Fiber on a Whim, I believe. Fiber on a Whim, Hydrangea, 36 count. It's 1/2. I always, when I'm on 36 or 40, it's 1/2. So most of my stitching is 1/2. But then I pulled a Bestitch Me silk called Vampire Kiss, and it's this red and black. Don't ask me why I thought that that would look well on this purple, but it works for me, so I don't really care. um, so I got about like 4,000 stitches left on that lovely dragon. I would like to finish it. Finish it this year. I'm really liking the monochromatic stitching. I I do it pretty well. And I have a lot of patterns, and we'll talk about that again too. But that lives in a bag. This is by So Much to Love. And this tag came from one of the Bestitch Me things. I just haven't written on it in the marker to tell me what that is. Why did I pick like a 4-leaf clover? Because I started it in February, and this is March. It was a bag that I had available, and I don't have the dragon box yet from Bestitch Me. I'm going with that. We're living there, okay? We're living there. Hydrangea, 36 count, Fiber on a Whim, 1/1, Vampire Kiss. I've talked about Castles in the Air, talked about the bag. Okay, great. So next, I started this on February 14th because it was, oh, strike that. I didn't start that one on February 14th. I started this one on February 14th because my kid swap partner Christina like killed it. I have been wanting to get back and stitch on this. You don't even you don't even know. Like this is going to Stitch North and this might be the only thing that I stitch on. I lied. I'm it's not going to be the only thing I'm stitching on because again, I need to finish Castles in the Air. And I'm going to finish one other thing that we talked about and then I'm bringing this one and my other new start. Who am I kidding? I'm never going to get any of this stuff done. But Christina, the genius that she did, she made this project bag. So this is bag by Christina. Love her for all of that. This is, oh, and I have all of the conversion that she did in here. But this is Night Walk Down by the Blue Flower. And I had the pattern. I just hadn't kitted it up yet. I just didn't know kind of how I wanted to go about it. And then when the kitted up swap kind of came around, I gave that to Christina as one of my options, and she did amazing. So this is the colors that she chose, various just different silks because she knew I had like a bajillion Be Stitch Me stuff. And for those of you who haven't seen it already, I just love this thing. Like, and those mini scissors kill me. These mini scissors kill me. So thank you again, Christina, because I love it. But this is stitched on Fabric of the Month from 2023 from Fox and Rabbit. And I believe it's going to be able to fit on it, but that's where I got with her. So I'm into the dress. I just, like I said, I have not had a chance to get back. Oh, this is by Fox and Rabbit. Did I say Fiber on a Whim? I might have said Fiber on a Whim. This is by Fox and Rabbit. It's called Possum. It was a 40 count Fabric of the Month from Fox and Rabbit. And I love the color. So like Christina, like I said, she killed it. I seriously love this project and I want to stitch on it like you wouldn't believe. But I've just been trying to get a few other things finished, which I did get accomplished because, you know, thank goodness for 2 week spring breaks. I just haven't got a chance to get back to it. That and I knew it was big, so I knew that it was going to take me a while to get to it. So or get finished with it anyway. So I tried to kind of push some of the smaller projects and then like really enjoy that one. So that one I don't have like a timeline for. I'm not trying to push for any kind of finish on that one. That one I am truly going to enjoy stitching. Not that I don't enjoy stitching on the rest of them, but that one I'm really just gonna enjoy watching that one come together a lot. So that was what I received from my kitted up. But then what I had done was I had sent because I had this pattern in my stash and I had wanted to stitch it. So I got Megan, not Megan with an H, Megan C. Plexity. I can never say her name. She's on Instagram, one half of the Long Distance Stitchers. And she wanted to do Strawberry Fields Forever. So I kitted up in, of course, my own conversion of Be Stitch Me. And one of the things that I did was I made this like project bag folio thing. So it's all the Be Stitch Me colors. You can kind of see them all there. And then I started this on February 15th. And I know that both Megan C, both Megans are working on this one. So, but Megan C and I will be twinning. So I started this on February 15th, so the day after. And I had gotten like this leaf done and like the roof and all the windows of the house. But then I had pulled this out just toward the end of March again in order to get kind of the rest of this done. I want to get in and I want to see how these pinks look because I saw Hathaway Stitchers, they're doing, or maybe not them, but one of they're doing like like a Fab Four sal type thing, and they had put in the strawberries on the border, and I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to see this. This green kind of throws me off just a smidge, so I don't know how I feel about that just yet. But I'm also like too far into it to really like be able to say I'm going to turn around and not do this. But then I didn't even realize that I have like a whole other half of this that I could probably put one of the other patterns on. And I do have all of the 6 patterns. So, and I got more Dusty Cottage. So this is also on 40 count. This is Dusty Cottage by Bestitch Me. I'm stitching it 1/2. No surprise. Shock, shock. Everybody kind of laughs at me when I Bestitch Me, and I'll be like, oh, that's this color. And mostly I'll know because it was in a fabric of the month and I had gotten that fabric of the month, or fill in the blank. But sometimes I can look at a few of the colors and I'll be like, oh, I know what that color is. Kind of bad. I couldn't tell you what DMCs, but anyway, so that was my February 15th start. And that is one I do want to try to finish. So this will go, I'll be doing like the fill-in of the bricks and maybe some of the strawberries around the edges at Stitch North for a finish at Stitch North for this one. And then again, if I sit down and I just work on castles, then I finish castles, then that is what happens. Actually, I got a little out of order because I think on February 9th or so, Michelle did one of her Quaker Zooms, and I had forgotten that I had this one in here. I try to keep them in order, but they don't always end up that way. Hey, guess what? This fabric, it's a Bestitch Me. Not a 40 count though. This is an old project. I could not even tell you when I started this one. Well, actually, I can't. Give me 1 second. I'll pull it up. But while I'm talking about that, this is on Winter Blues. This is a 28 count, actually. Oh, February 13th is when I worked on Holiday Quaker. But this is Holiday Quaker. This is by Leela's Studio. I started this on July 22nd of 2021. Also, I think in one of Michelle's, like a Quaker Zoom that Michelle had done, I had pulled it out. Actually, I think I started this in Laughlin. Random side note. But anyway, this is kind of where we're at. I worked on, I think I finished this motif right up in here and I started on this. So, this is big, but, and I did the called fors, and this blue fades really. This is so tone on tone with this fabric, so I don't think I'm gonna go back over it at this point. And obviously, like as my stitching has gone on, I have like embrace the chaos, right? I am not afraid to change up colors and do anything like that. So, but this again, 28 count Lugana, from Bestitch Me in the colorway Winter Blues. I am stitching that one 2/2, again with the called for, and this actually happens to be in a bag that I made. I don't remember what tutorial I followed, but yeah, that was a bag that I had made. So, I don't know. I do all right. I'm not the best. I have my mistakes. But when I look at them, I'm like, ooh, ooh, why? Oh, ugh. But it does. It does what it does. So, I finished Strawberry Fields, or I worked on Strawberry Fields on the 15th. I only worked on it that one day in February, and then I worked on Castles in the Air all the way up through to the end of February and Long Dog Leap Day. And this, I'm telling you, you're going to know exactly what this is the minute you see it. The minute you see it, you are going to know what this project is. Yep, you are. I promise you. Yep. It goes this way. See, you all know it. You exactly know what this project is. Death by cross stitch. Long dog sampler. I had to make sure that this, I knew that it was going to be tight. And this is on a 46 count. This is called Flower Patch by Be Stitch Me. It's a 46 count. And again, it lives in this this bag. The silk I am using is the other hank because I knew I was going to need a boatload of it. That came in that box. So this was the silk that came, these were the two silks that kind of came with it. It's very purple, purple to green to pink, you know, so, but that's what I'm primarily going to be stitching with. I know I'm going to have so much more left over of this that, even after I finish castles, that I'll probably put in, because those colors match really well. I'll probably do motifs and things like that within this one of, Death by cross stitch. So yeah, I knew you knew exactly what it was. 46 count flower patch. Again, by Be Stitch Me. It's a linen. I'm a big linen stitcher, which you probably have already seen. So that lives on these scroll frames or these scroll rods. These are handy clamp scroll rods. Otherwise, mostly I use an 8 by 11 Q-stap. I find that I like the way that that sits in my Lowry stand, in this chair. And I am a two-handed stitcher, so, oh geez, I need to put my walk down back with my pattern here. Okay. So I really only stitched on that one day. I don't even know how many stitches that was. It was enough to get across the top to know that I could fit that on that fabric, with like a tiny stinking margin on the side. But it fits on that fabric. I did not want to like try to go find something, and I didn't want to purchase something larger. So that's where it lives. Okay. That was February. I did a lot of stitching. 10,703 that was in 632 stitches in Death by Cross Stitch. But 10,703 total that were in Pattern Keeper that I could track. So, but things like Night Walk Down, Strawberry Fields, and Blue Tulips, those were pattern or paper patterns. So I have zero clue as to how much stitching or how much that was. So let's take a look at March. And in March, well, I kind of didn't want to pull out the pattern that sorry, my notion is being a little bit, there we go. Okay. So in March, I didn't do like a lot of stitching until about March 10th. And I know that that's a weird time because you would think I would have started like a pattern by Michelle. But I didn't because I knew that in order to finish the project, this next project here, I needed to like get my behind in gear is what I needed to do. So I pulled out, the Namarier tapestry, by Modern Folk Embroidery. And I stitched on that not every day until March 24th, but I stitched on it a good chunk, pardon me for the yawn. I stitched on it a good chunk throughout the month of March. 8 or 9 days, I think. And when it got to March 22nd, which was the last day that we had school before spring break, I took like that Thursday and that Friday, the two times when I really shouldn't have taken any time off. Like I should have just kept getting like 100 stitch or, you know, my 500,000 stitches. And then I wouldn't have put myself in the situation that I was in. But I didn't. So, Saturday, the 23rd of March, I had something like 4,700 stitches left in the Namarier tapestry. And I watched a lot of speed puzzling, the National Speed Puzzling Championships on YouTube. I watched a lot of puzzling um those few days, and um I did manage to finish the Namarier tapestry on March 24th on the Zoom with everybody. They stayed on late because even when we started the Zoom, I still had like 800 stitches left. But I was down here in the swans and I had a lot of long stitching left. So everybody got to stitch it with me and kind of finish it with me. So this is the Namarier tapestry by Modern Folk Embroidery. This is stitched on a 40 count wildfire from Bestitch Me with cauldron silk also from Bestitch Me. So this was the Bestitch Me left, front to right, front, back, upside down, right side up, you name it. But Bestitch Me is a problem. And I have like a whole other piece. I got so nervous getting down to this part on this side because I did not think I was going to have enough space this way. But I did. It snuck in there. I had to magnet around the sides just to make sure that that sucker stayed in there, but I did it. And I still have another whole bit of that. So I'm kind of excited about that. That was a finish. So I started that October 24th, 2023, and I finished it March 24th, 2024. That was kind of the goal, to finish it like when the hobbits were returning to the Shire from their trip. And I was successful, and everybody else got to be successful with me. So they all joke that I stitch super fast, and I don't feel like I do. Um Although I did get I got a lot of stitching done in those, because I think I had something like 800 stitches left when we started that Zoom, and I powered through those 4,000 stitches over those 2 days. It was like, it was my own 24 hours of cross stitch, but thank goodness that I was on spring break because I did it. That project lived in this bag here. This came from it has a green interior. This came from Black Cat X Stitchery Tiffany. Um, she does have really, really gorgeous bags. But I actually was at StitchCon when she purchased the fabric. So, like, right next to Keepstakes is a quilt fabric shop. So she had gone into the quilt fabric shop and I had seen this fabric and I was like, well, dang, because we were on the Stitchy bus going back. So I was like, and she's like, so I kept my eye out on it when she made it. So there's a little thread bed in there and everything. So Black Cat X Stitchery. Um, Good place for bags. I do have a few of hers. But really probably more of the bags that I have are from Big Stitch Bags, but I don't know if Ashley's been making a lot of bags lately. So anyway, that was March 24th. I think the next day I had gotten back my first Most Magnificent Ink Circles round robin from Jasmine, but I had like a little mishap. Some of this had to come back out. So this is Forest Flower by Ink Circles. This is stitched on a 40 count Night Sky from Bestitch Me, 1/2 as per usual. This inadvertently had a lot of P's in all the names of the silk, like Life's a Peach, which was the variegated one. Stachio is this really big green one. Plankton was this like other green. Punch, I think, is this like dark pink, and then the lighter pink, I can't think of, Petunia was the other one. So there are the colors. That green's coming out a lot more yellow on this, but it's like a bright green. Again, I apologize, my lighting is not doing these things justice, but this is super bright. But it got finished on the 26th of March. I think I did a little bit of the frogging, and then in order to get it stitched back in there and get it looking the way it needed to go. So not a big deal. I got that one stitched up. So again, this was Forest Flower by Ink Circles. So I was like, you know what? Since I'm in the forest, I'm in the forest flowers kind of mood with the one that I just finished for me, I might as well just go ahead and pick up Second Most Magnificent Ink Circles Round Robin. This time, it's Helen's, the Ditty Stitcher. And so I stitched, it goes this way. So Helen did this on a 40 count Cafe au Lait Zweigart, using a lot of sulkies, and then Aurifil. So this was really pretty. Like hers, she picked a lot of the different colors. So I stitched this one again pretty quickly. This was finished, I think, on the 27th of March. But they are so different, which is what is like super cool about even the fact that I had to stitch this, even the fact that I stitched it twice wasn't a big deal to me because they're so different. So let me see if I can get this to kind of go here. But yeah, they're so different, and striking in their own ways. Like I loved how Helen flipped the colors, where like what you would have thought would have been like the flower petals was actually like a green versus the leaves being red or pink, you know what I mean, was really, really good. So super quick. Helen yelled at me again for stitching too fast, but I mean, when I think about why like I sit down and I'm able to focus, the more I start thinking about the fact that, pretty much it's me. I have pets, you know what I mean? I have work. But once I'm done with work and I've kind of started to prioritize the fact that once I leave work, I need to leave work there. And it's super hard for a teacher to do that, because it's so just against everything that you want to do. But you got to. So I realized the more I started thinking about it, the more I realized, I spend a lot of time just stitching because, no, I shouldn't say just stitching, but I spend a lot of time stitching because it's my way of decompressing and it's me. You know what I mean? There's nobody really else that I need to answer to. So, um, yeah, it's kind of where I'm at. After that, because once I got that big Namarie finish, I wanted like some quick finishes, which is why I pulled out those ink circles. And then I decided I pulled out those ink circles, I got those done, and I was getting ready to kind of go back to castles. And then I kind of held off a little bit longer on going back to castles because one of the things that I also wanted to do was to, like I said, get a little bit closer to the end of like Strawberry Fields. So I went back to Strawberry Fields and I finished, I made sure my border matched up. I got some of the other vines in there. So I'll probably pull that one out again in like another week or so. But I'm probably going to start to really focus to see if I can get castles finished. Because I'm back stitching as I go. And it's a little weird with the one strand back stitch, but the only other thing I did, so that was March. So that was February and March. And then, like I said, I wanted some like quick wins. And so one of the things that I had gotten from Susan Greening Davis back in 2021 when I first went to Galleria was this box. like, so it's a sewing box, okay? And I'm not showing you the whole thing yet because the other thing that I kind of wanted to make sure I wanted to stitch and I wanted to finish is on the top of this box. So I had seen this box when I went into her store, and it's just like a little sewing box, you know, no big deal. Only she had this pattern on the top of it. Now, it didn't look exactly like this. I put in some, these are some forbidden fiber um, so, cottons. But I saw this and I was like, oh, shoot. So it had taken me a long time to work up the nerve to do this because a lot of the directions, like it says, start 6 inches from the left side, you know, with the vertical eye, like the directions on how to stitch the pattern was like, what is they trying to say? You know, so it took me like 3 years to figure out what they were doing. And then she has this hem stitch in here. Now, one side I goofed up a little bit and the other side turned out much better. But you had to stitch the border, you had to stitch that part, and then you had to hem it. So that was a whole trip. So, and then when I realized I had actually stitched all of this, like I had done, I just want to stitch and the girl, okay? I'd stitched that on the other side. And when I realized when I went up to here and I saw that the banding was wrong, I was like, ugh. So I undid it and I redid it. Not a big deal. So this has been my task. But then there was also, once you open it, there was this one as well. Colonial stitches, I did not do so hot on, but this is, so there are also some Roxy Floss Co. This is a Roxy Floss Co. This rust color, because it. Oh, you know what? I started Beverly Glen. Here, hang on. I started Beverly Glen too, and that's why I was like, that's why I said, oh, because I started Beverly Glen on March 31st. I started it for D's D20 stitches, their trans day of visibility. So this is how far I got. I got the blue jays done on the roof of the house. I've been lately center starting to make sure that I have enough room, kind of where I'm placing it on my fabric. So that's why I get started with a lot of the houses, it seems like lately. So Beverly Glen, I forgot that I had this on my Lowry stand and it was just sitting over there. This is on 36 count Cypress by Fiber on a Whim. And then it's the called for flosses because I bought the pack and the pattern at Stitch North last year. So we had gotten the whole thing. So I started this for D's 20 stitches, trans day of visibility. So yeah. Then I did that on March 31st, and then in April I did these. And then the only reason why I thought about it was because I was talking about Roxy Floss Co. and they would just happen to be sitting by where I was stitching this. I stitched this in like a really like a tiny hoop. And I can stitch in hand, but I find that I like the tiny hoops better. So when I was on Floss Tube at Sea, it took me a lot longer to get Mouse's Beach Outing finished than I really thought it should have taken me. It took me a lot longer. And I think that it was because I didn't really have a hoop. I just am not able to see what I'm doing very well if I don't have that. So anyway, I just finished hemming those up today and I tacked them onto that little stitching box, and eventually that's going to go hopefully clean up that mess that's over there next to my stitching spot. But granted, this whole room is probably going to get changed and flipped around and cleaned because don't look it over there. Okay, so that was all of my projects. I didn't do any knitting. I didn't do any crocheting. One of the things that I'm going to throw back to, I did boil since my last floss tube. I boiled my batik from my floss tube at sea. It's not blue, it's purple. But I did mean to bring over the other batik that I had bought when I was there, but I didn't. I did buy a few of Jan Hicks's patterns um from her Etsy store. I cannot remember what they are right now. And then I bought the Assisi's from Michelle's online store. But I am now going to get into kind of the haul situation, because you got to also keep in mind, like during this whole thing, we did have market. So I'm not going to talk like super, super fast about it, or a lot about it anyway. I'll show you, I'm not really also going to show, I'm not going to go through like each one of the flosses. I'll show you the fabrics. But for the most part, I'm just going to kind of fly through this one a little bit. Um, so, uh, we'll start with my fabrics of the month and my, whoa, hey, we got a caramel this time. This came, I ordered from Jessie the Dinky Dyes silk packs of the month. So she's going in order kind of each of the silk pack, or of the Dinky Dyes silks. So this was February's, and we have kind of these colors. So usually she sends the tea candies. Today she sent another caramel. She sent those in the burr boxes as well. So we have Out of the Blue, Outback, Orchid, and Opal. So that's a purple. These are blues. This is a pink and a blue. But that's purple right there, that one. I just happen to have this comic board from my Death by Cross Stitch, so I just pulled that one out. So that was February's. And then I have Marches. Let's see, tea candies. Oh, no, these are the coffee ones. So these are the coffee candies here. And let's see what this one says. These are February and Marches. And then I'll talk a little bit more about like one of the other things that I did one day. You can see my cat, one of the animals on the back there. So here we have the other four. So this is Parrotfish, Pacific Sunshine, Pacific Ocean, and Outback Sunrise. So those were the, again, she goes in alphabetical order, or they go in alphabetical order. So there we have it. So there are February and March. I am expecting April's. Jessie might bring it to us at Stitch North, though. I don't know. I haven't talked to them about that. And if they do, that's absolutely okay with me. I have zero problems with that. Zero. Okay. That was Silks of the Month from Jessie, Mislaid Pages. And Jessie does have a great online shop, Mislaid Pages. I'll try to link it below. So hopefully you go check them out, because they also dye beautiful fabrics. I don't have a ton of their beautiful fabrics, but I do have some. So then I'm also in the Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers Fabric of the Months. We'll talk about that one here in a little bit too. But this was February's Burning Woods Crackling Fire. It is like a maroon, like a really deep, like brownish red. It's really pretty. I have to make some hard decisions, because I really need to cut down on the amount of fabric that I'm getting, because as it stands, I've got like 50 some kitted projects, and I haven't even started them. And I've got like 20 of the other ones, and it's not like those kitted projects are small. I don't know. Anyway, March's Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers was Shamrock Rock and Roll. Shamrock and Roll. Shamrock and Roll. And it's a really good green. Like, kind of reminds me of the color of the Chicago River when they dye it green each year. Anyway, it's a good green. So that was Shamrock and Roll. That was March's Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers fabric of the month. And again, we'll probably talk about these here in a little bit. Kind of, and what I'm going to be doing here. The next thing that y'all know that I'm a part of, because I can't stop, is the Stitch Me's Silk and Fabric of the Month. Let me go ahead and get this one. I forget that she has these in these, like, I usually try to open them so that you can see them when I'm opening them, and I see them when you open them. I did have a little bit of a sneak peek this month because somebody was looking for a specific color of fabric, and so I had to figure this out. But this is We Can't Elope. But it is a gorgeous, like, sorbet color. It reminds me of her sorbet color too. This is 40 count. The other two were 40 count linens as well. I'm, again, 40 count crazy. So it's a great color. I like it a lot, actually. I gotta look to see if I have something like it in my set. We'll talk about that. Like I said, we still got things to talk about. Okay. So that was the fabric. Let's talk about the silks. So this was the colorway that she gave us this year, or this month. Sushi, Melon, Sprout, Plankton, and Dioptase. I don't know. It's teal. It's a pretty teal. But those were February's to go with We Can't Elope. So, I actually don't think I have this color. I don't remember putting this in my Notion. So, but I know I have the rest of them. Sprout might be a new one too, but I know that the other one was new. All right, and the other, so that was February. This is March's. Fabric and silk. Ooh. Oh, you know what? I have this fabric. But I'm destashing this fabric. Something's telling me that I need to keep at least one of these. At least I think I'm destashing this fabric. Anyway, so this is again a 40 count. This is Gold Rush. I probably got it in a box, to be honest with you. Because again, once I found Be Stitch Me and I found her boxes, like, that was it. Like, if you go back, you can kind of see quite a few of the boxes that I've gotten from her. So like I said, I know that I've gotten Gold Rush before because I was just looking through my fabric stash. And then this month's she sells her silks come in 10-yard skeins as well. She calls this Springtime as well. So they are very pastel. So we have Watercress, Peace of Mind, Energy. I know I have that. Pink Lady. I don't remember that one. And Orange Vanilla. I'm pretty sure I have that one too. I know I've got. Maybe the only one that I don't have is either Peace of Mind or Pink Lady. I'm not sure if I have either of those. But so those were March's silks of the month, which is exciting. I like them. I pretty much do everything in a conversion to Be Stitch Me silks at this point. I could also probably do it with a conversion to Stitchy Box silks too. when I was at the cross stitch cupboard, Michelle had stitched this. This is the Mighty Oak sampler by Chessie and me. And so I had placed the order. I don't know if I showed you all this one the last time, but that was also part of haul. So this is everything like market wise that I kind of purchased. Online PDFs. Like I said, I had purchased Dee's Know Thyself. That was only available on the 31st. I had purchased the S2E9 Marroomy Designs. I had purchased Anzac, Ragnarok, and then Death by Cross Stitch from Long Dog Samplers, because those are all ones that I want to do. I have purchased the Beautiful Biomes, which I will talk about momentarily. That is one that I do need to kind of get out and start stitching on the border at least. And then I'm trying to remember what other PDFs I might have purchased, and I can't think of them right now. But those were the non market slash, hey, I need to buy more stuff, because no, I don't really, and it's getting me into trouble. So we'll talk about that, like I said, here in a little bit. Let's talk about what I got when it came time for market. I usually try to get the Happiness is Homemade, the market cookbook. So I ordered this from Abby Topknot because mostly I wanted to get the Quirky Quaker Mouse, which I hadn't gotten, so I needed to order something from them. So I just ordered a few things from market, and then Quirky Quaker Cardinal, and then this was Winter Wonderland from Blackbird. This was a market release, I believe, which I'm not looking forward to stitching those white stitches for that house, but hey, you know, we're going to do it. I did order, that's Sweetie, by the way. I ordered the Tiny Towns that were newly released. So Frosty Tiny Town, Any Tiny Town, and more Any Tiny Town. But then I also hadn't purchased any of the other ones, so I kind of got the rest of them that I could get. So Big Hearted Tiny Town. This one is the Seaside. Oh, A Honey of a Tiny Town. The Seaside Tiny Town. The Harvest Tiny Town and Halloween Tiny Town. I think she was out of the Holiday Tiny Town. I did not get the patriotic one, or like I didn't get that one. But I really wasn't going to order anything market wise until this is the other weakness that I've got, until Luminous Fiber Arts decided to put out Gathering Violets, and I was like, dang it. So I've already kind of pulled out a few that I might. I've really only stitched Gathering Clover, but I do have the rest of them kitted up, ready to go. I just need to like get off my lazy behind and like pull them out and start stitching them, because this will be a quick one. But I pulled like 4 purples, but I know they look blue. But so I don't know. We'll see. I pulled a few, so I can throw this with the rest of them and get to working on that one at some point too. But Gathering Violets was super pretty, and I could not pass it up. So one of the other ones that I purchased was I'm a science teacher, at least right now in my teaching career. I've taught, for those of you who have been with me for a while, you know that I've taught like a lot of different things. But one of the ones that came out this year from the Primitive Hare was Marie Curie. So figured that might be something that I would like to do. I do have a Women of Science t-shirt. So I figured that was one. And then I do have all of these, so I figured it was time for me to get the Hello from Liz Matthews, 10th Day of Christmas. Not that I've started any of them. These aren't even really truly kitted up. I might have a fabric now. And like I said, I'll talk about that here in a little bit. I know it's been an hour, but we're down to like kind of the last bit of like stuff that I bought. This came from, well, let's do the market stuff. So directly from Michelle, I got the Needle Heathen Biscornu, and I had gotten Jesse's bloom pattern. So Mislaid Pages, I'd gotten their bloom pattern. So I had gotten that. And then one of the things that Michelle had said that she would do is that she would send the Needle Heathen, because I hadn't purchased this one either. So I got that. I got those Needle Heathens, and then I got Jesse's. Again, I ordered those directly from kind of Michelle, and they sent it to me when they were done with market. But one of the things Michelle happened to mention during one of her Twitch streams that Abby Topknot had found some of the It's Charm School pins that went with Needle Heathen. So I was like, because I knew I had purchased them, I was like, Abby, do you still have any of those? She was like, yes. And I was like, can you send that my way? So I got that, and it shipped with something else, but I don't remember what it was at this point. Like I said, I just mixed it all up into one big haul piece. And then Cece, I cannot think of any of Cece's Instagram information, but Cece is looking to Java Pearl Designs. Got you. Anyway, so Cece was doing a fundraiser for training for her service dog. So one of the things that they were doing was they were selling stash, which is something that I'm going to have to talk about here in a second. But one of the things that I got the opportunity to purchase and support CC and Pumpkin was, or I think it's Pumpkin Pom Pom, but one of the things that I had gotten was this Summer House Stitchworks Hands-On Design Between Friends, a spring sampling. So I really like that. There's like a ton of different patterns in here. Obviously, I can't show too many of them. There's like a needle book. It's just got a whole bunch of different little things in there that I thought were really cute and really pretty. So, might be some of my small stuff if it's small enough to stitch for smalls. Holy smokes. Okay, things are falling. Things are falling. All right. So that was haul, that was stitching, that was I flew through that haul, y'all, because I mean I got a lot, but so one of the things that I had done while I was kind of on spring break here was I had realized that I got a lot of stuff. And I need to sell a lot of it too. So I had decided to go through and take a look at my pattern or my kits. There are things that I had kitted up, and a lot of the stuff I wanted to keep, and there's a lot of stuff that I want to stitch. Some of it's kind of small, like, so I can probably stitch that up fairly quickly if I just sat down and pulled that. But I realized that even knowing that those things are all fully kitted with, maybe not have the DMC, because I've got, my big master set over here, so it might not have all of the DMC for it. Hi, sweetie. Might not have all the DMC for it, but it's all got fabric. So there's something like 50 projects over there that all have fabric in them. And then there's some projects like Namare that, that's using half of, a piece of fabric. There's some kits that I know I need to finish kitting up. So I've picked out a fabric. Don't know if I'm going to keep it or go with that one per se, but I've got a lot of fabric, because then I started thinking about it and I realized, back up my girl. All right. So I decided, okay, it's time. Yeah, it's time. Time for me to start to try to narrow down my fabric. And even when I did this, I still didn't narrow it down, because look, This is all the fabric that I want to keep. And then you just saw 2 new pieces that I got in and these pieces that I need to like kind of pull in. Now, granted, I'm trying to decide. I think I might do beautiful biomes on one of these. I don't know which one yet. I really like the Do You See What I See from Fiberlicious, but then, you know, there's Wave from Be Stitch Me, which is like perfect ocean color. Yeah, I know. The dogs are getting natives are getting restless. Go. So one of these is going to be beautiful biomes, I think. Although there is one in here that's called Sandbar. That's super pretty too. It's like a green, but it's also got some like brown, like sand color. That one's running close behind on these other ones. So these are all the ones that even after like I sat down and I looked at it and I was like, okay, are you going to keep this or are you going to get rid of it? I kept it. These are all the ones that I kept. And like this whole section right here, like from here to here is all 40 count. So I'm like, this is what I'm keeping. What I'm keeping. Along with the 50 other ones that I still have kitted. This is what I pulled to sell. So I'm trying to decide if I want to sell this through like just a D-stash on Facebook or if I've got a couple of kits. I've got, if you like I said, a few things that were kitted. But otherwise, this is all fabric, y'all. And it's not even the comic board because a lot of this is folded. So like this is a huge stack of Be Stitch Me and Fiberlicious and Mystic fabric. That's all 40 count. And then some of it I did keep on the comic board because the stickers or something it needed the comic board for whatever reason, and I couldn't like I didn't feel right taking it off. So I gotta sell this, and then I just got 2 more new pieces, but I don't want to cancel them. And then I really want to get in the Fox and Rabbit one, like really bad. But then I'm also like, it's fine. I'll bite the bullet. I'll cancel it after April. Maybe. So, I have some kits that I would like to de-stash slash sell. Got not really a lot of patterns. I didn't go through my patterns yet. I literally, that is just fabric. I literally just went through fabric and kits. All I did. I shouldn't complain, but I'm also like realizing that I am never going to stitch on all that fabric. So, you know, I'd like to be able to get it into people who will use it, you know, or who I'd like to be able to sell it. So I'm looking to sell my stash. Not all of it. Obviously, there's like a lot of colors that I just can't part with. Literally, like, would probably hurt. Oh, I got 4 new pieces of fabric, y'all. 4. Okay, this is a problem. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. We'll be fine. So, I guess my question is, you know, if I did like kind of a YouTube one, would y'all watch? Or if I just put it on like a Facebook D-stash page, or I don't really like the way Instagram does it. So What are your thoughts? I mean, how many of you would watch, to purchase like, and like I said, it's literally like fabric. There's a few kits, but it is fabric. It is all fabric. Um, so, and again, most of it is 40 count, or it's a linen. It's not a lot of Aida. I do have some Aida, um, or some Jobelins and Luganas, but not a lot. I'm a linen stitcher. I do like the even weaves, but I just like the feel of linen, I think. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. If I did a YouTube live, would you go to that? Would you be interested? Is there a day that would be helpful? Because that's a lot of money sitting in my stack. I also have diamond paintings that I need to get rid of too. So, let me know. Let me know your thoughts. How many of you would want to kind of take my stuff off my hands and get the money back in it? I got some expenses coming up that I could kind of use some help with. So, yeah, we got to sell it. That's right. The dog's got to eat. Anyway, let me know. I've wasted enough time kind of chattering on about life and the rest. Sweetie is not happy with me right now, so I'm gonna probably, I gotta clean this up. Decide what fabrics I'm gonna keep. What ones I'm gonna get rid of these new ones. Put my Bestitch Me back where they belong. Um, put my new dinky dyes in my Notion, tear apart some bags. I might have a few bags to sell too. So just give me a heads up. Like I said, let me know. Again, thank you to everybody who started to join me on this journey. I apologize for the length of this video, but it was 2 months and I did not realize how much stitching I did. I apparently did a lot, which was not what I anticipated doing. That's a little bit of a shocker to me, to be honest with you. Um, that's a lot. So, but like I said, I'm also trying to clean up and put some other things away. I might make some of those project folders, like what I made for Megan and Michelle and a few of the other ones. So like I said, if you're interested, give me a heads up, and let me know how you would be interested in seeing that kind of all that stash get disseminated to you. So that is my goal, to get rid of it, and or at least to find it a better home than what I can give it right now. And with all that, I hope you all are enjoying your stitching. I hope you all are getting a lot of stitching time. And I hope that everything is going perfectly well for you in your choice of endeavor. So with that one, hopefully we'll see you at the end of April with a Stitch North recap. And until then, bye everybody.